And in 1 hour, the Treasurer will hand down the federal budget with millions of Aussies desperately hoping for cost of living relief, as Jim Chalmers today announced a surprise surplus for the second year in a row. So what can we expect to see on Parliament's Night of Nights?
It's budget night in Canberra, and all your favourites have turned out, including forced talking points.
Responsible economic management. Responsible economic management. Responsible economic management as well.
There's also the annual super awkward small talk for the cameras.
Well, this is a product of a lot of hard work.
Looking forward to telling the world about it.
No pressure.
And, of course, the headline act.
With a $9.3 billion projected surplus.
Yes, Australia's projected to be $9.3 billion in the black, which is great news for a government trying to show off its...
Responsible economic management.
But perhaps a bit baffling for the millions of Aussies crushed by cost of living pressures.
Every Australian wants to see this cost of living crisis beaten, and they want the Treasurer to hand down a budget that does that.
I'm hoping that there's going to be significant cost of living measure relief for many Australians as well.
Chalmers says the surplus is not coming at the expense of those in need of relief.
We know that you're doing it tough. More help is on the way in the budget.
Exactly how much help is something we'll learn shortly. But we know there'll be energy bill relief and boosts to rent assistance and likely changes to job seeker and the aged pension.
The cost of living relief in this budget will be substantial and it will be responsible.
The biggest ticket item? The amended Stage 3 tax cuts, which will see all taxpayers score a boost of between $130 and $4,500 a year. Then there's the HEX help, previewed last week, which will wipe about $3 billion from student debts. There's also almost $1 billion for those leaving violent domestic situations, pay bumps for childcare workers, and student teachers, nurses, midwives and social workers, and a nuclear sub-powered increase in defence spending.
So tonight's budget will deliver for all Australians, not just some.
So are struggling Aussies about to get good news, and will it be enough to make a difference?
Well, one of those Aussies hoping for some good news is Kristina Hammond. Kristina, you and your husband, you both work. You're a registered nurse. He's a farmhand. You've got a couple of young kids. Just how tough are things for your family right now?
Things are pretty tough, and it hasn't been this tough for us since, well, it's been a long time. Since probably I was studying at uni as a student when I was eating bowls of cereal to get by at uni. Like, it's pretty tough and it's very stressful.
So what are some of the hard decisions that you've had to make for your family?
So really, we're at the point now, like, all our money is going towards making sure we can pay our bills, so paying the mortgage and making sure we've got a roof over our head and paying our services. But some of the hard decisions that are coming up now is my oldest son has ADHD and we're going through the ASD diagnosis process, which is really expensive. And so now sort of juggling between the therapies that he needs, and we have no support with the NDIS at the moment, so we're paying privately, and it's got to the point where we may actually have to stop some of his therapies. And as a parent, that is really difficult decision to come to. Because you want to do the best things for your kids, and when you can't do that, it's really, really difficult.
Everything's going up at the moment, right? Your mortgage has doubled in 6 years.
Oh, absolutely. Our mortgage has doubled, and we were always aware, you know, that's the risk you take when you get a mortgage, that, you know, interest rates can rise. And so we've always sort of accommodated in our budget and sort of cut areas, but everything else keeps going up, that it just makes it really, really difficult. You know, when groceries keep going up and we keep taking money off the grocery budget every fortnight, and you go back in to do the groceries and, you know, things just creeping up more and more, it's really difficult to keep juggling it. It's very stressful.
There are a lot of people with stories like yours, people who are searching for other ways to maybe raise extra cash in order to deal with this. Are you trying to make decisions like that as well?
Oh, absolutely. So my husband and I have had that discussion. So I work casually at the moment just because of needing to be flexible to work around the kids, because it's quite demanding. But casual shifts are not always guaranteed. There's no stability there in working casual. And so I'm now looking for other casual positions, or even considering full-time work during the week that may not even be nursing related, just so I have a stable income. And, you know, my husband, who works full-time hours, has discussed working a second job in the evenings to just get by, which is really disheartening, because, you know, you want to spend the time with your family and have that quality of life, that work-life balance. And, you know, I feel like I've worked hard to sort of get there, and that's all turned on its head. And now the thought of working these massive hours and juggling kids and a house and children with additional needs, the thought is exhausting.
I think a big part of the Australian population would like to think that having children and a family and owning a house can be a joyous experience. But do you feel that that's kind of dissipating from the Australia that we're living in now?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just me. I know it is a lot of people in similar situations. I've, you know, got friends that, you know, most people I talk to are going through similar things. So, and it just, yeah, it is disheartening that joy of, you know, having a family is sort of taken away a little bit. And then you get comments about, oh, it's your choice to have children. Yeah, it is my choice, but it shouldn't be this difficult either.
Well, it's your choice, but you're also nation building.
Well, and also the Treasurer has asked us to have more children.
We need to have more children.
So we can't just look at it as a personal choice in that way. I mean, so it's budget night. What do you want to see? What would make a difference for you?
Just more, first of all, some acknowledgement that, you know, the people are doing it tough. And I honestly feel like the middle income families that sort of just don't quite qualify for the extra additional support from, like, say, Centrelink and things, because you just sit above the threshold. A bit more support for us that sort of like just get lost in the middle, that don't qualify for financial support from other areas, and, you know, acknowledgement that it's tough, and maybe some support for us that are trying to just do our best. We are the ones that are working, paying our taxes, raising the next generation of children, and trying really hard to raise good, you know, well-rounded young people that, you know, can continue on and do great work for this country. And it's really difficult when you can't, you know, you have to choose between a house over your head or feeding them or, you know, offering them the support that they need.
Kristina, so many stories just like yours all over the country. Lots of people tuning into the budget tonight. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for having me.
You're right. So many stories. We actually put out a call today for people who are doing it tough, and two things really significantly happened from that. One is there were a lot of people who we couldn't interview because they had two jobs to try to pull things together, and so they weren't available for us to speak to, which tells you something about the working poor situation that we're looking at. The other is we were just inundated. Here are just some of the stories. We could have given you dozens of them. Tiani, she works 3 jobs, lives with 2 other people. All their money goes to food and petrol. They work every day because they can't afford a day off.
Nicole works a full-time job. That covers mortgage and bills, and 3 casual positions for essentials like food and petrol.
Crazy, isn't it? Camilla, she owns a business and she also works shifts in the emergency department, and she has 38 cents in the bank at the moment with 5 days left until payday. I mean, you're hearing stories about people who are too scared to turn on the heating as it goes into winter because they just can't afford to pay the bills as well. So many stories like this, people just looking for a bit of a break.
And they used to be overseas stories, didn't they? That's what's really galling about it.
Yeah.